Yes, you read that title correct. I lived out of my car for a whole year, approximately 396 days, nights, and I still took my ass to the gym and made some pretty sweet, solid gains. I went from a puffy, fat, spider-looking physique at 210 pounds, and I trimmed down to a leaner 180. Now, my physique admittedly still has lots of room for improvement. I don't even think I'm aesthetic quite yet, but compared to where I was before, it's a night and day difference. I lost a ton of strength, fat, and muscle in just 3 months from February to May 2024. And that was because, truth be told, I was not eating at all or much anymore. To make it short and sweet, I was actually at the lowest point of my life in a while, and I had a few dollars in the bank account in February. And out of ego, rather than turning to family and friends for help, I chose to thug it out and take accountability for my poor life and career decisions that I made prior to living out of my car. I had two main addictions and vices that had me in a chokehold. But that's a video for another time in the future, I promise. So within 3 months, from late January till about April, May, man, I lost so much weight rapidly, which accelerated my hair loss as well. I was really going through it. But once I landed my current job that I have right now, this was in May of 2024, that's when I started getting back to work in the gym properly. I went from being 210, curling 45s on the dumbbells, all the way back down to curling 25s and 30s on the dumbbells at 175 pounds. I could barely do 5 pull-ups. I was back to squatting 1 plate. It was bad. I wasn't starting from scratch necessarily, but I was definitely so much weaker after losing all that weight that quickly and not exercising for 3 months straight. So for the position I was in, living out of my car and getting my bread back up, being alone in the streets of Arizona, technically being homeless, there was a lot up in the air. The gym isn't my whole life, but it's an integral part of it. You know, it's integral to maintaining my stress levels, my sanity, keeping me accountable and disciplined, keeping me inspired, giving me the energy to take on the challenges of life that really matter in the long run outside of fitness. And it was one of my biggest worries when I started living out of my car as to how I'm gonna make this work. It's like, how am I gonna build muscle strength when my living situation is unorthodox? How can I even think about any of this when my main concern should be getting financially stable again? You know, was I crazy for even having these thoughts? Perhaps, maybe. But the truth is, I got pretty damn lucky with the job I have right now. Obviously, I earned it, but, you know, I'm just saying, like, when I landed this current job that I got in May 2024, this job is a hybrid remote position that allowed me to work on-site or from home. Obviously, I didn't have a home, but it allowed me to work on-site at the office, and I'd get a daily meal credit that would pretty much allow me to get free lunch every day at my job. And the office also had a variety of free snacks that were healthy-ish, lots of beef jerky, yogurt, things like that. Not completely healthy, but you get the idea. But prior to landing this job, man, I was eating out at Taco Bell, getting bean and rice burritos for like $1.50, just the cheapest menu items, and doing this multiple times a week. And then occasionally, you know, I would cook with the portable gas stove, some ground beef and tortillas. So getting this job was like a godsend in terms of saving money on food, but, you know, sleeping on the other hand was the main thing I was stressing about. So this was my sleeping arrangement right here. Pretty much everything was from Walmart. It's pretty damn cheap. And then I had made like these custom window covers that I spray painted black and taped to my windows. And I got these window curtains from Amazon, and then threw on some sunshades for the front windshield, and there you have it. You know, you got a 2013 hand-me-down Toyota Prius that was ready every night to sleep in. It took some while to get used to, but you know, we did what we could. So I got a gym membership at EOS and was there for about 4.5 to 5 months until I upgraded to Lifetime Fitness in June. Was it pricey? Of course, but absolutely worth the upgrade considering my living situation. And plus my job allowed a $75 gym reimbursement per month. So in reality, for Lifetime, I was paying about $55 per month, as opposed to the full $130 I would normally have to pay. But yeah, I hated EOS with a passion. Working out there, I fucking hated it. It was overcrowded all the time, dirty, but it gave me enough of a groundwork to where I started gaining confidence working out publicly in the gym again. I did have a temporary full-time job at One Medical before this current job that I was working in February until end of March 2024. And when I got let go from that job, I had to rely on my second job, my part-time hours at Lowe's, to keep me afloat until I started my first week at my current job in May 2024. So it was a part-time job at Lowe's and payday loans that kept me afloat. So from late January to early May, I was living out of my car, broke as a joke, and just barely getting by until I started my current job. And from late January to late April, I was only using EOS to shower and change clothes in. I didn't actually get back to exercising until late April, and then properly until like May. So, you know, with the trajectory I was on in the beginning of my time living out of the car, I was scraping by and didn't know exactly where I was headed. But when I finally got just a little bit financially stable again, I started to see the light a little more each month that passed by. And when I upgraded to Lifetime, that's when my gains really started to take off. That's when I started regaining a lot of that lost strength and muscle, but then eventually taking it further than I had ever been before. So I have a selection of natty fitness YouTubers that I follow and I've been watching for a minute. Watching their content and applying their teachings helped me progress faster in the gym. Here are the names of them. Follow these guys. You will not regret it one bit. From their words alone, I was able to develop my own program that worked for me and my goals and my schedule. So please do yourself a favor and follow these guys, because you will not miss out. So I did lots of pull-ups, lots of them. Instead of bench press, I stuck with dumbbell press. I did lots of squats, did heavy squat walkouts up to 3 plates and more, just to get my body used to the metabolic stress. I don't even know if I'm saying that right, but I used the V squat machine, RDLs with dumbbells, did lots and lots and lots of curls with hammers and bicep curls with dumbbells. And only since this past February of this year, I started doing bodyweight dips and weighted dips. I train on the heavy bag for cardio mostly. My workouts were after work at least 3 to 4 times a week and would typically last between an hour and a half to 2 hours at max. My sleep was typically between 5.5 to 6 hours per night. Not optimal, and some nights admittedly were probably more like 4.5 to 5 hours of sleep. But I still made gains, so it goes to show that, at least if you're still between, I want to say, the beginner to intermediate level, you have no excuse. You can still make gains, substantial gains. So the truth is, though, how I was able to make these gains is that I sacrificed and I traded off a lot of other things throughout the year. Now, naturally, I was already making a sacrifice by living out of my car, but I sacrificed a social and dating life in order to save time and money, in order to get my money up substantially. So in the process of doing that, I was able to save up so much money in just 13 months. And like when I look at my bank account now versus a year ago, it's honestly mind-blowing. I could have never saved this much money if I was paying rent somewhere, especially in California, which is where I'm from originally. No way. The pay at this current job was perfect for the living situation I was in. And because I sacrificed everything else, I kept my head focused by working 2 jobs back to back, doing 12 to 14-hour work days, working lots of overtime, pretty much never missing a single day of work aside from 1 week where I got sick this past January, and taking like 2 or 3 days off to attend 2 different close friends' weddings last summer. I was always working and going to the gym. That's pretty much all I was doing. In November, though, funny enough, for my fellas that are dating, or watch dating content or whatever, in November I did manage to smash one chick when I had like a 2-week period where I got back on Hinge, the dating app. And I just find it funny because till this day, this girl doesn't know that she technically slept with a dude that was homeless. So let that also be motivation for you. If I could smash a chick while living out of my car, a lot of things in life are possible, okay? I did a good job with, once I got my money up and I was in a much better financial position, I was able to clean up my appearance a lot more. So that's how I pulled it off. But anyway, I guess the whole point of this video was not to necessarily give you any kind of step-by-step on what to do specifically in the gym while living out of your car, but more so as a motivation for you to not make excuses for yourself. Because, look, I'll admit, I'm not even aesthetic yet in my physique. Not even strong yet, okay? I just know for gym bro standards and just, how the fitness, you know how it is, okay? If you know, you know. But I'm definitely not weak. I'm definitely in the best shape I've ever been in a long, long time. And this is only just the start. Okay, I got so much more room to grow and evolve from here that I just can't wait to see the gains I make in the rest of this year. I've developed a baseline level of strength and muscle to where I can now really start to push my body even further with some real weight and some real challenging movements. In case it didn't click for you yet, I am no longer living in my car as of April 1st, 2025. Right now, I'm currently back in California, staying with my older brother and my mom, just to spend time with them before I leave again. And part of me wishes I posted my car dwelling episodes throughout the year, but I will one day post an entire recap video of my car dwelling journey, because I actually did capture mostly everything. As you've seen in some clips throughout this video, you could see the change in my face throughout. So one day be on the lookout for when I give a raw breakdown month to month on where I was at during my journey. But I'm in the process of making a move down to South America this summer, and I plan to stay out there for half a year, keep my current remote job while building this YouTube channel and seeing where things go. So in short, fellas, believe in yourself. You can overcome a lot on your own. You can always find a way to make time for the gym, even if you're not training for aesthetics or strength, but just to feel better physically and mentally, spiritually, whatever. Make a way. You can do it. I promise. Man, whether you're in high school, you're in college, you're working in corporate America, you're from out of the country, wherever you are, whatever your class background is, whatever your situation is, you are a lot more capable and tougher than you think. Peace.